Hello, Bashar.
And a good day.
I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, all right. We are really excited too.
I never put my name in the basket, and my questions are always answered. This time I
How
had no
synchronous.
question, but my name was picked.
Oh, all right. You can make a statement if you wish. Many times when you make a statement, you actually open more doors for us than when you ask a question.
I'm experiencing the shift, the change, the acceleration that you were talking about earlier.
Oh, all right.
And it's magnificent.
Yes, it is. Magnificent and magnifying.
I like that. And at the same time, I see people around me.
Yes.
They're in totally different place.
Yes, of course.
And although I have total allowance for where they are.
Or is there going to be a but here? I have total allowance, but... And you're going to contradict yourself anyway, whether you use but or and.
And it becomes...
Yes. It's all right. You are choosing to change your state of being. In one moment, you may, in fact, indeed have total allowance. In the next moment, for some reason you've invented, you choose not to have total allowance. Why?
Because I want them to shift too, but I can't.
Why? Why? Why do you need them to shift too?
I really don't need them to shift.
Then why do you care whether they do or not? If you are doing what it is that excites you and you know you're acting as a perfect example to them so that you give them at least an opportunity to know that that's an option they can choose is what works for you, then you've done all you can. If you need them to change, what does that say about what you believe about your own self-empowerment and your own reality? Well, anytime you feel the need that others must believe as you, you don't believe what you say you believe in.
I just wish they could see
it doesn't matter what word you use.
Okay. I give up.
I understand what you are saying. And again, the idea is that the best way to be of help is certainly share information, share perspective, share points of view, but be a living example of them. And thus you have given them all of the information that they need. If they do not at this moment choose to match that vibration, you know they are eternal, infinite beings.
Right.
So what difference does it make whether they choose it now or some other place and time? They're always going to exist, aren't they?
Yes.
In some form or another, aren't they?
Yes.
So why do you have the insistence that they must change now?
Okay, I'll let it go.
Thank you. Isn't that more relaxing and accelerating for you?
Yeah.
Instead of carrying the burden of everyone else's choices behind you, dragging them along as you attempt to go toward the reality that you prefer.
Yeah, it's definitely liberating.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Does that help you then?
It does.
And?
And communication is becoming difficult with
difficult
them.
In what way?
It's like I'm speaking a different language. I'm in a different state of total being.
Then learn the different language. Learn how to communicate in a different way. Don't define the change as difficult. Define it as different. Yes?
Yes.
It's only because you're defining it as difficult, because you think it needs to be a certain thing, that you're experiencing it with difficulty. If you understand the change is a natural result of the changes within you, you will search for the new way in which communication will be more natural for you. And you will communicate with whom you need to communicate. Those that don't understand you any longer, perhaps there is nothing they need to hear from you. Yes?
Yes, and they're not, because of that, there are just limited number of people.
So?
Very limited.
Only because you are defining this in a negative way and thus actually closing the doors through which more like-minded people could come.
Yeah.
You are the one isolating yourself by your definitions of your experience. Don't have those limiting, isolating definitions, and you will suddenly feel that you're in communication with many more beings than are just physically present with you. You understand?
Yes.
So expand your definition of communication, and you will expand your experience of communication as well.
Speaking of communication.
Yes, we were.
I've been, it's been a year since last October.
One orbit around your star, yes.
Yes. That I've been hearing other beings.
You are redefining yourself, shifting into realities that are more and more representative of what you prefer to be. Yes, that's what healing is. Everything, every change, any change is the result of shifting to a parallel reality where you are already more representative of what you prefer to be, or not.
Okay. I want to actually know who are these beings?
Who are what beings?
The beings that that I hear messages and I write them down.
Why don't you ask them?
I did.
And? What did they say?
The Pleiadians?
Yes. Is that a question? Did a question sneak in there?
One that I'm afraid to ask. No.
What are you afraid of?
No. I'm kidding.
Oh, all right. Ha ha.
Just a confirmation. Yeah. A confirmation.
You don't need our confirmation. It may or may not even be the Pleiadians, but it doesn't matter because being told that they are is the permission slip that works for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's all source anyway. Yes?
Yes.
And even if it is truly something else communicating with you, the only way you're experiencing it in your reality is by creating your version out of your own consciousness and your own energy anyway, in order to experience it in your reality. So all you're really doing is talking with yourself. But that doesn't mean you're not communicating with others.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Remember, it's not this or that, it's this and that. So use whatever works for you. If the term Pleiadians works for you, then they are Pleiadians for now. That may change, it may not. It doesn't really matter as long as it works for you. Yes?
Yes. Another question?
Yes. That was the first question?
I don't know. I'm not taking count, so...
Oh, all right.
Not counting. As far as the change and the shift that is going, and I
that
know,
is always going on,
yes.
Yes.
That is, and now, I know before we're talking about the separation of, like, the earth is reincarnating, you were mentioning?
Everything has an infinite number of parallel reality experiences. They already all exist. The shift that we are talking about is simply a point of view of consciousness.
True.
But all of the Earths, all the different varieties, all the different versions of Earth, and every other world and every other dimension all already exist. The shift takes place simply through your consciousness from your point of view. Yes, the Earth has its own consciousness. Yes, it can also experience the idea of shifting in a very different way than you do. But nevertheless, all the Earths already exist.
My question is more toward the new Earth.
Which one?
The one...
There is no the one. Don't you understand what we are saying? You are shifting billions of times per second.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In this conversation alone, you have literally shifted through billions upon billions upon billions of Earths. Literally, to create the sensation of time and movement and change, just even in this conversation. Time is the side effect of shifting through these parallel realities billions of times per second. So you're already shifting to different Earths. There isn't just one. But you can experience a run, a series of parallel reality Earths that are more and more and more and more and more representative of who you prefer to be, more reflective of who you prefer to be. You can do that, but it's never just one Earth. You're always shifting through billions of Earths every second.
So I create my own earth, basically.
Yes. And you thus then create your version of it, and others that choose to match that vibration create their version of it, or again, more precisely, shift to that version in their reality, create it in their reality, and you make an agreement to experience the sharing of it as if it actually was a single world outside of you, but it's not. It's all happening within your consciousness. That's how powerful you are. That's how multidimensional you all are. That's what it really means to be made in the image of God. Is this sinking in at all?
Oh yeah, it just shifted my whole question.
Oh, thank you.
What else? I think that's it.
All right. Then
Thank you.
shift along.
I will. Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
You mentioned at the beginning that we've shifted and we're sort of accelerating.
You're shifting all the time.
And the energy that's coming through has been accelerated a little bit. So I'm
Again, it's not that it actually is, it's that you are now perceiving it in a way that makes it experienced as if it is. The acceleration is just an experience, a sensation of your awakening awareness. Nothing is actually accelerating.
Right. So I'm just wondering if there's a correlation to the amount of energy that's coming through you through this room.
Yes.
Has that increased?
Yes. And it will continue to do so. Because we are shifting too.
Okay.
We will be talking about this in what you call a future transmission that has already been given from my point of view. The idea being that as you are shifting, we are shifting and other worlds are shifting, and sometimes we choose to shift in tandem with you. And our world of Ethasani is actually shifting into what will now be called Shakani, a higher level. But we are doing it simultaneously with you. And Sirius is also doing it simultaneously, and we will explain more of this in another transmission at another time.
Okay. All right, so my next question is, I'm not quite sure how to ask this, but...
Oh, all right, I'm sure you will figure it out.
Okay, so the idea that we're shifting billions of times a second.
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious about this, if there's this underlying pattern to that we each create from this as we're shifting. For example, let's say that as I'm shifting, depending on what vibration
Yes.
I'm shifting, say if I'm sad or if I'm happy or
Yes.
whatever. As I'm shifting billions of times, does that shift in and of itself create specific patterns?
It can, but again, you are creating the pattern, so you can create other patterns as well. And remember, a pattern, generally speaking, is something that functions on automatic. If you know you're doing it, it's no longer a pattern, it's a choice.
Well, I'm meaning like, for instance, could
Are
it
you
be-
talking about the simple underlying template you've agreed to share with other people so that that's an automatic function of the physical reality that you don't have to think about intentionally?
Well, I was kind of thinking more, I mean, I get what you're saying there, but I'm kind of thinking more of like, say, a spiral pattern.
Yes.
Or the flower of life pattern.
Oh,
or
yes,
those
yes.
types of things.
Everything generates fluctuations of patterns of energy in the overall things that you are shifting through. Yes, it's like a wake, in a sense.
So is that part of
Like
how,
ripples in a pond.
is that part of how you identify,
Yes.
see us in
Yes.
those patterns?
We
Is
see
that-
the patterns, yes, holographically, overlapping.
Okay.
Yes. We see you all holographically. It's like looking at a series of three-dimensional ripples coming out from central places, as if you dropped a multitude of stones in water, but three-dimensionally. Rippling, 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 intersecting, interacting, reinforcing, diminishing. Colors, light, energy, forming different ideas and different constructs as they overlap, disappearing, reinforcing, disappearing. It's a language unto itself. It's information unto itself. It's a dance of light.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm sort of seeing that, and I'm
Kind of, sort of?
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so you talked about the spiral that you created on Esasani.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? How does that relate to Earth and us, and is it a part of this shifting or this bridge?
It is a part of my shifting. It is a part of your shifting in the sense that I am in contact with you, because it is a part of who I am. And thus it acts, in a sense, as an antenna for higher dimensional frequencies, some of which we will be downloading in conversations we are having and have yet to have from your perspective with you.
Okay. I just recently have been meditating with the contact crystal.
Oh, all right.
And in one of my meditations, or a couple of them recently, I've have sort of found myself on Esasani in front of the
Yes.
main your contact crystal there.
Yes, all right.
And
many of you pay visits in a variety of ways.
Okay, and so as I was sitting there meditating in front of the crystal on Esasani, I felt like there was maybe a counterpart of mine there that we sort of
Yes.
kind of merged together,
Yes.
I guess.
Many of you have counterparts in our civilization, not always concurrent in my time frame, but many of you have counterparts in our civilization, which is also one of the reasons why we are in communication with you. We are all one family in many ways, on many levels.
Okay. Is there something that you can share about that obviously, because I'm making that connection, there's something that I'm giving to that aspect of myself and vice versa?
Well, when you looked at the crystal in your meditation, what came up? What did you focus on? What images came into your mind? What experiences, what sensations did you have?
That it was familiar, that this is something I've done before in terms of interacting with different civilizations.
All right.
And
so you are suggesting that you are connected to the idea of contact specialist.
yes, and the other thing that came up, though, was all of the other crystals that surround the central crystal
Yes.
that represent the other civilizations.
In our particular association, yes.
Okay. Those crystals, are they crystals that come from your creation, your planet, that represents these civilizations? Or
Yes,
are they? Okay.
but they each contain something from each of those civilizations.
Okay,
It is embedded in the crystal.
okay, because that's what I was getting.
Yes. Each crystal thus then is grown around the seed of whatever it is that is from the other civilization, and thus acts, in a sense, as an information extraction and storage crystal for that particular civilization holographically, so that anyone can thus then touch any of those crystals and instantly start downloading information from that civilization to whatever is relevant to which they wish to know.
Okay, yeah, I was doing that. I guess I was sort of in the beginning stages of doing that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right, so if I say Ewat,
Yes.
can you?
It is a language not of our civilization, but one of the others you were focused on.
Okay. Is this the civilization of the being that I met on the ship above Iseti Ranch?
Yes,
It's that being.
yes.
Okay. Is he the guide who's also helping me to remember
Sometimes.
that?
Sometimes. Not always, sometimes.
But I'm asking specifically the idea of this icon that
Define.
it's something that I used when I was younger to
Define the icon.
Well, that's what he was attempting to help me remember. I don't remember the icon, and he was attempting to help me.
Then remember it now. What's the first image that comes into your mind?
I just seem to have a block with that.
Maybe the image is a block.
Okay.
Is it? Is it a block? Is it a cube? Is that the icon?
Well, I was told it was.
Answer the question.
I don't think so. That's
Then you know it's not that.
yes.
So that's a step in the right direction, yes?
Yes.
We can do this by process of elimination if you wish.
I don't.
Yes?
That would take. Probably,
Now, let me ask you the real bottom line question, as you say. You said you don't know what it is. Yes?
well, some aspects.
Answer the question,
No.
but you know what it's not. Yes?
Yes.
Which means, as you know, the only way you can know it's not that is if you know what it is. Yes?
Well, the reason why I'm saying that it's not that, because
Yes.
I was told that it
Yes.
was something that was like an angel or something like that, some kind of aspect.
It doesn't matter that you were told. What I'm saying is the information came from some level of your being. Even if it came through another being, it still came into your being and you had to create your version of it in order to receive that information. So you know what it is. And the proof that you know what it is that you know what it's not. So you just have to become more confident in the idea that by knowing what it's not, that must mean you know what it is. And as soon as you are absolutely confident and assured in that knowledge, you will see that you know what it is.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
So we give you the toolkit, not the end result.